But this morning, we're going to get into a conversation for our newspapers, and we'll be checking out the front page of the various newspapers and what they are reporting. And then we'll have our guest in the studio for us to take a look at the major issues that we'll be dealing with today. I'll be joined by Manasseh Atap-Wine, and of course, Richard Manurube will also be joining us from the NDC. Manasseh will be coming from the NPP. And those are the two political parties that will be representing this morning. A few of the issues that we'll be looking at, you're very much aware that yesterday we're supposed to have a very smooth, in fact, people were very optimistic about the elections for the district level, and we're hoping that some of the things that happened yesterday would not have happened, but unfortunately, there were some issues that have to be addressed even before we go into the bigger conversation, which is the elections 2024. And the NDC have been vehemently, reprimanding the EC for the job they have done. They feel that it's a very incompetent on the part of the EC, and they've been speaking about it. The Deputy General Secretary of the NDC has vehemently criticized the EC for the work the EC did yesterday as far as the elections of the district elections is concerned. And she says that the whole process has exposed Jean Mensa, who is the chair for the EC. We'll talk about it. We'll find out which ways we can make it better moving forward. You know that the elections were rescheduled to happen today. We're hoping that it's been able to, some of the issues have been able to be resolved so that we go and have a very smooth operation as far as the elections is concerned. Also, we'll be looking at minority who actually wants the executive instrument 144, revoked. We'll take a look at that. In 2022, don't forget that the former minority leader in Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, actually came up strongly with this issue of the EI, which is EI 144. And he wanted it to be revoked because it's not really benefiting in terms of what it places, the power it gives to the president to make certain decisions. Now, the Achimota forest has been in that conversation. We'll be looking at it and see indeed if the minority will be able to get somewhere with this revocation of the executive instrument 144. We'll take a look at that as well. And also, if you're a pensioner, there's something that we'll be discussing. The Africa Center for Retirement Research is projecting, some increment in pension payments. We'll be looking at that. It goes as far as 25%. We'll look at how possible that can be as far as pensions is concerned. So those are some of the issues that we'll be looking at this morning on our major conversation. But you can send your messages to us ahead of time. It's WhatsApp number is on your screens. You can also go on our streaming platform. We're streaming live over there. You can drop your messages over there in real time, and we're going to be reading them for you here on the show. Once my guests join me here, we're going to be taking that conversation now. But let's look at the front pages of the various newspapers. If you're hoping to grab a copy this morning, there are a few things that would interest you that I want you to take a look at as you make your way to the office. Now, Daily Guide this morning is reporting on the WASE results, and it says top grades reach record high. It's got the Education Minister, Osei Edichim, captured over there, and the doctor has been very, very up and doing with the WASE results and the education sector and all of that. Page 3 has got a story on it. You can read about it when you grab a copy. And also, Belgian new force girl deported, and we're talking about Shalima Abisi. And yesterday you were aware that at 10 p.m., a day before, she was deported to Belgium, and the lawyers have raised concerns about the way she was handled in terms of her human rights. And well, there's been a press release that has been put out there by the new force themselves, and they have criticized strongly the actions that were taken against the lady. And they've also mentioned a few things that they feel that the human rights organizations can actually take a look at, and so we don't have some of these things reoccurring again, and they are not happy about the entire situation. So that's what it is. I'm sure as and when we're able to pull out the press statement, maybe we'll just read a few of the portions for you, so you also get to understand the stance on this very issue as far as our Belgian girl is concerned, Shalima. Now, go beyond Ghana, Nana to Ghanaian businesses, and also NDC presses panic button. And Mustafa Gbande is actually captured over there, and he's the one who's also criticizing the EC for the work done as far as the elections, the district elections are concerned. we'll look at that as well. Let's get into the middle page and see. And some very big question mark raised over here. Free SHS. And after the question mark, it comes with yes, with an exclamation sign also. Trump disqualified from 2024 ballot in Colorado. And also were some other stories, foreign stories. The students sue after exam ends 90 seconds early, and death toll rises to at least 131 in China quake. Angolan billionaire hits with 580 million pounds asset freeze, and that's also captured in the middle page of the Daily Guide this morning. And offensive gets new Paramount chief, also captured over somewhere. Let's talk a bit about some entertainment stories that are making waves. Stonewall shows love to Achimota Rasta student. That has also come with criticism. Yesterday, Asieru read some of the comments that came up after Stonewall tweeted that he's got some tickets for the young man, the young Rasta man, my guy. And, well, people don't understand why he's giving him tickets instead of helping him go to school, further his education. They probably wanted to give him some scholarship or something. Ghanaians and how they look at things sometimes is a bit disturbing. But Tyron has not come out to say that he needs some support or anything of the sort. It's just Stonewall showing love to a young man who's been able to pull out those grades, especially with the kind of controversies that surrounded his going to Achimota and all of that. But to think that that's a necessity for him to give him scholarship or anything like that, sometimes it's just like we're asking for too much, if you ask me. But it is what it is. It's just a matter of showing love. All right. Mayokun's stolen necklace returned after Inyanya also spoke about it. Now, Mayokun actually went into one of the states in Nigeria to perform, and whilst he was performing, in fact, after the performance, he realized that most of his necklaces and his rings had been stolen. The video also had a similar experience like that when he was looking for his ring and all that, But Inyanya tweeted, because Inyanya is coming from Calabar, and so when he saw the issue, he tweeted a couple of times, and some of the necklaces were returned. Shatawale did a similar thing for our very own Mick Neal when he came to Ghana to visit, and his phone was stolen. Shatawale tweeted, and that phone was returned. And so I don't know why they take this. Now, if you go to Tanzania, Simon Platinum also went through the same thing. Went to a place to perform, and his cap that he was wearing in the crowd whilst he's making his procession into, his hotel or something of the sort, somebody just pulled up the cap and decided to run away with that. He was very agitated. He sat in the car. He was very, very, pissed. In a couple of minutes or hours, if you like, the cap was returned, and I don't know how these people take this thing, and when they make an announcement that they're not happy about it, they get it back to them. Why are you stealing them in the first place? Or why are you taking them in the first place? But that's what happens with showbiz mostly now. The very, very sad story over here with Jonathan Majors is the fact that he's been, found guilty of the assaults, and that's not a good one. Now, Marvel Studios are dropping one of the franchise that he's involved in. They actually dropped him, they dropped him, and so he will not be able to feature in that franchise anymore. And it's very unfortunate, coming at a time where he's been able to gather some very, good recognition for himself. He's been out for a while until Michael B. Jordan put him on the Creed, which brought him back into limelight again. And we're hoping that he was going to be getting some major gigs that will propel his career and all of that. But unfortunately, this assault case seemed to be bringing him down again, and it's not really a good one. The girl from Megan Good has been always supportive, in terms of going to court and all of that. But the end of the story is this: he's going to be losing big time when it comes to the assault and what it seems to do to his career at the moment. So that's a very unfortunate situation over there. But let's see how it turns out. Bree Power Records 97% after tax, and that also a Daily Guide this morning. Let's switch to Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic says economic zones policy outlined as government baits companies, and SML ICOMs fetch over 3 billion Ghana cedis, GRA says so. MasterCard might invest in $6.1 million in rice value chain project. And GJA launches third African media convention, and Supreme Court not populated. Justice Kofi says so. That's Daily Graphic this morning. On the back page, it says, keep Accra City clean. Gassem Foundation support Kolebu Children's Cancer Unit. That's also captured in the daily graphic at the back page. You can grab a copy and read about that as well. A daily statement this morning says Africa's media urged to champion AFCFTA agenda, and traders satisfied with Yuletide surge in sales. Obviously, it's going to happen. I mean, it gets to that point almost every time. The other side of the coin is that after the Christmas season of the period, we're going to go back to square zero. And that's something that you need to be looking at when you're making all these sales, but it's all good. NPP beat NDC in assembly elections, so there was a provisional, I don't know, but there's going to be some elections, today as well. So let's just say maybe it's not over yet. No one should be denied nomination forms, and that's also captured on the front page of the Daily Statesman. At the back page, it says Daniel DeBoy versus Gerald Miller could heavyweight tussle steal the show in Saudi Arabia. Every single thing, sports and entertainment, seem to be going to Saudi Arabia now. I don't know what they're doing right, but it looks like the world is always getting there, when it comes to these very heavy entertainment and sporting activities. Now, the business analyst says that no laws have been broken. GRA says so, and that's this SML revenue assurance contract, which has brought a lot of issues right now. Third African Media Convention Local Organizing Committee inaugurated. Deputy Information Minister GJA, President Co-Chair Committee. Akufo-Addo daughters of Glorious G says go to grace second GJA dinner night. And third African Media Convention will boost economy, GJA President says so. And also, size of economy in quarter 3, 2023 estimated at 212.36 billion Ghana cedis. And that's the front page of the business analyst. Let's get into the business finder this morning. GRE backs SML, says contract is justified. World Bank names new country director for Ghana and 2 others. That's the front page of the business finder. That'll be pretty much the newspapers and the front pages and the reports that are out today. So you can go grab a copy and read about all of that, right? That's what it is. Now, we're going to be getting into our major conversation. Earlier, I mentioned them to you. Do not forget to add your voice to it. You can go on our social media page. We're streaming live on Facebook. You can drop your message over there. And those of you on our WhatsApp console, we'll be reading from you as well. So you can also drop your messages over there, and we'll read a bit later here on the show. In the studios this morning, I've been joined by Manasseh Atabwai. He's government spokesperson on economy and finance, representing the NPP. Manasseh, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Kennedy. Very well, by God's grace. Trust I'm doing well.
I'm great.
You always look good.
I try, I try, but it's a good thing, to see you over here. And
Right.
as always, you're family to this place. Now, Richard Manuribe is here, member National Communications Team, the NDC, representing this morning. They have not been really happy about what happened with the elections. Rich, I'll be.
Ambassador.
Oh, yeah. I forget sometimes. Forgive me.
You said we are not happy of what?
Oh, the elections and with
what the statement said?
NPP beats NDC.
Gbande paper says all that. Gbande paper says what? The NDC beat the MPP beat the NDC in assembly elections.
Yeah. It was released yesterday. We saw that.
But who said that? The NDC had the majority in the assembly elections.
According to what?
We collate our elections. We know our people that contested elections. We know our party people that contest elections. And I can tell you that the NDC has won the assembly election by 71%.
The NPP will equally say that.
That's not true.
The EC comes out and says that.
But the EC doesn't politicize assembly elections.
And that is why we need to wait on the EC instead of the NPP.
The EC will only release elections for assembly members. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you, with the people I know that contest assembly elections across the country, that I go to campaign with them, that I have known them to be part of my party, 71.1% of them are assembly members. So I don't know where the MPP rushed, Gabriel Chirako rushed and where and this. What is this?
You are only deceiving.
Why is it scared? Why is it scared about this? I mean, and let me say good morning to you and good morning to your children, viewers and your listeners. I think His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama raised a concern that every morning when you sit here, don't greet him. That's not fair. He's bringing 24-hour economy to you. So every morning.
He says you shouldn't greet him.
You don't say hi to him. That's not fair. You're an ambassador. You can be.
I equally don't say hi to the president of the nation.
Or the outgoing presidents. The limping president. How did they call him?
The incoming president.
Who? President John Dramani Mahama.
His Excellency
John Dramani Mahama.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You are aware. Richard, you are aware.
The reality on the ground.
Very well. Leave that reality on the ground for your party and conversations.
Your party has won so many elections. But this is just Gabriel Chiraku who wrote something. So don't
Very well.
Don't take it. So it shall get into daily graphic. I think that's why quite.
Viewers, you already know our conversation for this morning. We're going to begin with the executive instruments. The minority in parliament have raised concerns about the EI 144, which they want revoked because it gives the president a certain power to classify certain places. Now they are saying that Achimota forest should be declassified, and once that is revoked, we'll be able to do so. Now in 2022, the former minority leader Haruna Iddrisu also spoke about this very issue and says that it's something that had to be taken a look at. Now, there have been other acts, LI 2462 have all come into the fray and all of that, but how important is this, especially when it comes to the forest reserve, Achimota Forest? It's been in the conversations for the longest, and especially with the intentions of people wanting to mine in that area. It's necessary for us to take a second look at this very, executive instruments 144, or we probably should just be looking at it as, something that will not bring a lot of troubles if we let it be. Manasseh.
A very good morning to you, a very good morning to Richard, and good morning to our cherished viewers. I also want to say special greetings to His Excellency the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is the flag bearer of the MPP and who will lead us to break the 8 in the 2024 December elections. And I also want to appreciate my boss, Honorable Kojo Ponkroma, for the wonderful work he's doing for the media. Because you are a journalist,
the misinformation
and because your station also as part of the media, the Fourth Estate, I think it's quite instructive for us to know what is happening in Ghana as it relates to the protection of journalists. And so tomorrow, by God's grace, around 10 a.m. or so at Alisa Hotel, there will be the National Accountability Forum to bring us up to speed on the various processes that government agencies have applied as it relates to dealing with incidences of attacks on journalists. We have complained far too long. And it is totally unacceptable for us to hear incidences where journalists in the line of their duties have been attacked. And if you are, I know you are aware that there has been some procedure that has been laid in place to ensure that the Attorney General, even the military, the police CID, and the SHRAJ, and even the Office of the Chief Justice, all these bodies come together to offer accountability to Ghanaians as it relates to the various incidences of attacks, how far they've gone with it. Have they been able to prosecute anybody thus far? Have they been able to find anyone or whatever? The Ghanaians are calling for answers to these things. And so tomorrow there will be the maiden, National Accountability Forum, and I entreat you to be there. I know your station will follow this, and probably
we're definitely going to be there. Some of these events do not happen without us.
Right.
You can't do some of these things without involving multimedia, and so we're definitely going to be there.
Definitely. And yesterday, too, the African Media Conference, the third African Media Conference was also launched, and it gives the opportunity for Ghana, of course, to host this next year in May. Ghana will host the third African Media Conference, and we'll be having all forms of media practitioners across Africa and even across the globe coming to Ghana, and it's a great opportunity for us to sell Ghanaian media and even made in Ghana products. And so we want to just sensitize the Ghanaian people so that in the coming year, 2024, as government has taken upon itself to fund the entire program, we are confident it will give us the leverage to ensure we are able to put Ghana on the global pedestal.
Great. So with Manasseh, Richard starting off with the whole elections thing. I think that it will be good for us to start with the elections. Yesterday, we had certain concerns raised and all that,
right.
So maybe we can continue from there. Now, the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC has spoken vehemently about it, and he says that this has actually exposed the EC chair, when it comes to the competence and what she promised Ghanaians in terms of elections. 2024 will be mega. Why did we get to where we got yesterday?
Yeah, KMJ, of course. So in the district elections, it has to be mentioned and reaffirmed that when you even look at the incidence of turnout, this year witnessed the highest turnout ever. And I'm going to share the data with you. I mean, elections are not without challenges. And of course, when we have district level elections like this, they have relations even with the major election. And it gives us the opportunity as Ghanaians, of course, to study the election processes and to raise our sincere objections to it. I mean, this does not in any way amount to any form of incompetence, as has been said by the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Of course, there were one or two incidences of delay in some polling stations having voting materials and other incidences. And I think all these are parts of the issues that happen that would demand critical attention. I mean, because going into the 2024 election, we do not want to have a lot more of these anomalies. 2024 election is very critical, and we want to, as much as possible, reduce the incidences of issues like this. And what is instructive for us to know is that whatever the Electoral Commission needs, as it relates to even funding, as it relates to, logistics and other items, government has been very supportive. And so when there are one or two incidences of inefficiencies, it behoves on them to explain to Ghanaians for us to know the reasons why we still record some of these inefficiencies, today. And so I want to reiterate the fact that government is making sure that as it relates to elections, when it comes to money, in fact, the president himself mentioned, and the finance minister also mentioned, that allocation will be made for the 2024 election. And the district level election, of course, has been part of our electoral processes. And so there is no blame on government whatsoever. And I am saying that the issue, of course, in the incidence of one or two hitches would have to come up and explain to Ghanaians why, we recorded some of these incidences, so that going into the 2024 election, as it relates to, the biometric machines, as it relates to the various polling stations, getting the voting materials quite early. And we don't want to have any hitches at all, so that, we'll be able to solve all these issues, and hopefully during the election, there will be no delay. And so I think this gives us the opportunity to probe into what has happened. But let us not discount the successes we have chugged in this election. I'm not too sure if I have heard of any place where there were, a lot of fisticuffs or even attacks and those things. So it tells us how far we have gone with our democracy. And I believe we will have to commend even the government and the EC. The EC, of course, was able to conduct, the elections in so many places, top-notch, except for one or two incidences of, delay in the voter, materials and all of that. So I want to maintain that this does not amount to incompetence or whatever harsh words the NDC Deputy General Secretary is forcefully alluding to. There are challenges in every human endeavor. It is only instructive for us to take notice of these challenges so that going forward, we would have reduced incidences or even zero incidence of these things at all, so that in the upcoming 2024 elections, we would ensure that every Ghanaian votes. Sometimes when I hear of incidences where there are issues with the biometric, machines, or when there are delays and the elections, it's into the night, it's not a good thing at all. And sometimes when you have, these papers being counted so late in the night, it creates the room for, untoward events to happen. And so I think it's a good timing. Okay. It is good that we are having the district election, just at the end
more
of
like
December.
More like a mock for
Absolutely, so that we will be able to, and it's good we are having, these kind of conversations around it, so that it would put the EC in check and also demand a lot more from them to ensure that for the 2024 elections, there will be high-level performance without any incidents at all.
Okay. Richard, is it that the EC is just too overconfident, or it's just that the NDC is playing their, usual political whatever they want to do? Because, like Manasseh said, these are machines. They can get to a point where they start misbehaving a bit. It happens. What's the big deal?
KMG, let me say good morning again to you and your viewers, and then good morning to my good brother, Nana Addo, the government spokesperson of economy and finance. It's a big man. And very soon he's...
Don't bring his VAT, he doesn't care.
No. I'm not talking about VAT today. Very sooner or later, very soon he's supposed to be aspiring as a former government spokesperson.
That's none of your business.
It's my business.
We are winning the
why is that your business?
And then His Excellency, the incoming president of the Republic of Ghana, who was the former president of the Republic of Ghana.
You are aware.
Oh.
We vote based on
Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that.
You have nothing to show for.
Don't be doing that.
Richard, go ahead.
And former president of the Republic of Ghana, former commander-in-chief of Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, the incoming president of the Republic of Ghana, who is coming with so many major policies that is shaking the MPP with the 24-hour economy. I believe and hope that KMG will not forget he's an ambassador, because you have to run 24 times in ambassadorial positions, making sure you promote tourism, making sure that the tourism sector works well. I mean, so you won't forget, because the ambassadorial position that they've given you is ambassador at large. Because the economy is so poor, you can't remember that you are an ambassador. Unless I have to remind you are an ambassador. So have you forgotten? You understand?
Which I haven't.
Yes, you haven't forgotten. I think last week I sat on this studio, at this platform, with Nana Addo, and I was talking about journalism and its attack. And as a member of JHR, I'm a member of Journalism for Human Rights. You know, I'm a media practitioner as well. And Menasa said, I told you that when you close, you have to sneak and then go home. And Menasa told me, said, you can drive home safely. But today he's sitting down telling us that the journalists in Ghana, they are now going to do checks and balances to see how many cases of the attacks that have been prosecuted, how many of them that has been in court, how far it has been, and then they are now going to, it's an unacceptable journalism attack in this country. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama is a journalist as well. He's also a member of JHR. And I think you remember, before you go to journalism school, there's a situation, there's a form for you to fill. So either you join or not to join. Yeah. Yes, and I believe and hope that you being a human rights activist in journalism, you've also joined. So we have a package for the journalists, and they make sure that the media freedom will come to stake, because President John Dramani Mahama is so much concerned about media and the media practitioners, because the duty of you as a media person is to entertain, educate, and inform. And I believe that your information you've been given to people, KMG, as 6 people wake up and listen to you, you remember the case of the Hutus and the Futus, when the journalists just uttered a word, and then about millions of people lost their lives. So you have a major role to play. And then it has come to this country where Edward Adeti was have to run away for his life. Manas Azuri and other people, Ahmed Suhali and other people has lost their lives. And you can recall even a journalist student who died in a hotel, we don't even know what killed him. Even the BBC journalist at a highway in Upper West region was killed, and who came to do a check on corruption and other things in this country. And we've had a president and a commander-in-chief of Ghana Armed Forces who doesn't believe in journalism, who doesn't believe... Who doesn't even believe anything in journalism.
Journalists who it happened at NBC.
The event that is about to happen is a good one.
I am happy. No, I am happy. That's what I'm saying.
So
I am happy.
Let's not dwell.
I am happy somebody from the presidency come to admit the fact that journalists are not safe in this country, and for that matter, the minister who was your colleague before, the minister who was your colleague who was working in multimedia before, he is now commending him for the good work he wants to start to do. We pray, as a journalist myself, we pray and hope that all these securities will be put in place so that KMG, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose Aseidua. I don't want to lose Rosalind. Neither I want to lose Brenda. So I believe and hope that these checks will be done, and then perpetrators will be put on in book, and then we'll get this thing done. KMG, we're talking about the elections and matters arising. The NDC as a political party, led by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, who is coming to take the mantle of the country and move Ghana forward, keenly monitored this assembly election because it was a concern. We really want to see what the MPP incompetent Jean Mensa can do so far as elections is concerned, because she's been somebody who doesn't want to learn. She's been somebody who doesn't want to listen. And so we also monitored, and we realized that there are a lot of things that happened during these elections. You can bear with me, and then Your media house have done so many times because you had correspondence everywhere. It's not somebody sitting at the presidency or Minister of Information that will come and tell you that there was massive turnout. This was one of the lowest turnout of the assembly elections in the history of the Fourth Republic of Ghana. And that's the reality on the ground. I think your media has even reported. You go to some areas, about only 10, 15 people who come and vote and elections are declared. People were not interested in assembly elections. There was no education as we used to do under President John Dramani. NCC didn't even do the work. Government didn't release enough funds for them to go into these elections. But let me congratulate all the assembly members that have won these elections. And then I want to thank all the members of the NDC who has gone out to make sure that we do a test round of these elections and then put some of our people there. I can tell you boldly that put some of our people there to do a test run of the elections. And the elections, we could see that most of the NDC people has won. So to encourage all the NDC members, to encourage Ghanaians that on the ground, the unit committee level, the assembly level, the parliamentary level, now level, the presidential level, the NDC is leading in every aspect of life. And we should take care. But I tell you, the most sudden and then thing that Jean Mensa has done again is, in Ashanti region, he issued a raw statement that some part of the Ashanti region, some electoral areas in Ashanti and Eastern region, we're not going to partake. And it amazed me. Yesterday, a young man came the day before, a young man came to me. I was going to Kumasi to go and go. He doesn't have transportation. And I gave him the money to go.
Richard,
on his way,
every time somebody comes to you,
yeah, on his way,
these are people we don't even get to know about.
No, I mean, you don't need to know about them. On his way, he called me that they said some part of Ashanti region, they were not going to vote. He doesn't even know whether his electoral area was part or not part. She didn't even specify that, okay, this electoral area, like say Duas electoral area, that's Ohimba Kokobin electoral area, that maybe they are not even voting there, so you need to go back home. And then the gentleman have to go. And little do we know, because today we are doing a 24-hour economy walk in Ashanti region, Jean Mensa had deliberately wanting to make sure that the NDC walk should not come on. He intentionally made sure that some part of Ashanti region that is closer to Ashanti region, that the masses were coming for the walk so that they will engage them in elections today, but it won't work. The people have gone to vote this morning. And today they are doing it. So the people some of them, as I'm told, are on the queue. They will finish the election and go and join the walk. Share intention. Being an MP, making the Electoral Commission and the MPP office a nest, making sure that anything the NDC do does not progress, does not make a way, will not work. And we have not got to know Jean Mensa, that she's always trying to beat the agenda of the MPP, trying to make sure she still rig election for the MPP. But we nonetheless, we are not worried that much. We are focused.
That statement.
We are focused. We are focused, and we remain focused.
You can't make those statements.
And then we are trying to make sure that everything that Jean Mensa will do, she will be caught and let the public know. International communities are observing. Everybody is observing the situation in which we are. As of yesterday, the stronghold of some NDC areas, about 10, 11 o'clock, they were not voting. Materials were not there. But this is the same person. I engaged Dr. Sribo last week, because we went to the same platform. And as at that time that I engaged him, he told me that all the printing materials were almost done. And you came to issue a statement that everything is set, all is set for the elections. But a minute before elections, you come to tell us a different thing. What is her problem? She doesn't engage public, she doesn't engage stakeholders when it comes to election. You don't know much about election. Jean Mensa is the fact that she has no idea about elections, but it's just because the MPP said they were going to bring the electoral commissioner to beat the agenda of the MPP. That's why she's there. And we agree.
This is not the first time she's supervising an election.
The last election, what happened? Even in the MPP elections, what happened?
These are things.
The first election, she declared elections 7 times.
The EC alone cannot deal
so
with
that's why we say that engage stakeholders forum.
You can't entirely blame the
2020 election, when Jean Mensa became electoral commissioner, declared elections 7 times. Even in the MPP elections, when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Kennedy Japo and other people, listen, they mistakenly even declared elections with a wrong figure. Are you aware? At the sports stadium, they mistakenly even declare election with the youth of the area. People have to rise and say no before Dr. Sribo have to recorrect the figure. Today, another assembly election, 3 elections that the electoral commissioner has been involved, has been malpractices, has been incompetent and super incompetence. So we are saying that we remain focused and we want to let Jean Mensa know that she should just be an independent electoral commissioner. We have seen the electoral commissioner, Afarajan, very independent, did his work diligently with credibility. We've seen the electoral commissioner, Charlotte Osai, a very independent electoral commissioner. And then we have seen an MPP appointed member electoral commissioner. And in any case, the MPP has even appointed the director of IT to the electoral commission, who is in charge of the biometric machines, is the head of IT at the electoral commission. That you couldn't even make sure that he does all these things. There were some areas, KMG, you know that the electoral commissioner is telling us that going forward, they are not going to be indelible ink when it comes to elections.
Yeah.
KMG, you recall yesterday, people raised concern that there were double registrations with some people. Even in the same electoral area, in the same polling stations, people's names appeared twice. And some were able to vote and they have to escape. And some couldn't even have access to vote. Meanwhile, you are the same electoral commissioner who opened a register for exhibition. These people went for the exhibition. This correction was not able to be made. And you sit at the electoral commission and do all this things. So these are the situation in which we have. This is the electoral commission we have, who is not credible, who does more political than being electoral commissioner. So I think that Jean Mensa should have credibility issues. And now I think she's going around calling the NDC to join IPAC. She's now calling the NDC that now that we are not the challenges have been more. We agree with her that she's a novice when it comes to elections. She has no idea when it comes to elections. But we will support and we will make sure that we don't want to fail Ghanaians. In any case, we fail Ghanaians, that the Ghanaians are yearning for us. And we fail Ghanaians with this electoral commissioner, there's going to be a lot of issues that will burden the democracy of this country because our democracy has been submerged. The president has interest. He says that his responsibility, 50 years in politics, because he started with Buzia, came to whoever, came to President Rollins, came to President Kufuor, came to President Mills, came to President John Dramani Mahama, became a president. That his achievement of this country that he wants to do is to make sure Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia win elections. I don't know if he is the one that is going to declare the election. So that's the president's achievement. The president's target is to make sure that he and Jean Mensa rig elections on behalf of the NPP. And so we are ready. We are very ready to make sure that we will protect and safeguard the integrity of this country as the NDC. We are very ready that we will make sure every vote counts in this country because, KMG, you can attest to it and you can tell me that you are really, really suffering. And that's the reality. So that is why, as the statement, I think the CEO of the statement, the fact of the matter is that Gabriel Chiradaku has run away to tell us that the MPP has beat the NDC in assembly elections. Let us politicize and openly tell the MPP. So we are waiting. KMG, the reality on the matter of this election is that whether NDC beat MPP or MPP beat NDC, they're going to be presiding member elections. And it is the people, the assembly members that elect presiding members. So we'll see the number of presiding members we have, and the presiding members that are NDC, and we'll see the presiding members that are MPP. And then the reality will dawn. I'm just surprised. And it's painful that the MPP is not going to elect any MMDCs for elections again. And that's the reality because they're almost done. They are packed and go. And I'm sure, I don't know, Menasi, whether you are done with your handing over notes, and that's the reality on the ground.
Okay.
We are going to make Ghana better with a 24-hour economy. Building the Ghana we want together, KMG, I am included, and every ordinary Ghanaian is included.
We're going to go for some messages and hear your thoughts on the issues we're talking about this morning. So the very first issue has to do with the elections. Today, it's ongoing. If you've not voted, you can go and vote. So we're hoping that it doesn't come with a lot of challenges.
In the Ashanti region?
Yeah.
In the Ashanti region?
Yeah.
When the NDC is having 24-hour economic
we don't have
work.
a lot of challenges today as well.
I mean, it's just because of the 24-hour economic work. That is what she's doing.
No, the EC is just doing it.
The EC is just deliberately, deliberately want the NDC to have a
you have difficulties, and then there's
what
pressure.
What do we have? She told us everything was okay. But because she heard NDC is doing 24-hour economy and work in Ashanti region, she's telling us we are not voting in Ashanti region. So the people will go.
What will she achieve with that?
No, when the people go to the polls to vote,
what will she achieve?
She will achieve making sure that the NDC doesn't have much crowd in Ashanti region. That's what she wants to do.
Anyway, we're going to be getting into your. We'll be getting into your messages on that issue, but
I'll take all of them.
Again, we'll be looking at the minorities' decision on the revocation of the executive instruments. Now, Achimota Forest has been in the conversation for a couple of years now. You know, a lot of people think that they can just go and then do some mining. People are just scared that that forest may be given out to some activities. But let me begin with Manasseh on that. When we get our messages ready, we'll just get into the messages.
We don't have enough time, so let's make progress.
Richard, Manasseh, it's just 2 minutes you're using to do this. We don't have my time today.
Thank you.
In fact, the two of you came late today, so our time is far gone.
Thank you. 2 minutes. So one, it is not true that the NDC is leading the results as it relates to the district level elections. He is aware. They have no facts. They are unable to collate any results at all. So the 70 point something he is saying is not factual. We have done our own collation and we are confident. As at yesterday or so, we were leading by 57.41. And I'm sure maybe after, probably next week or so, the EC would come out with the figures and we'll be able to put out these things. And please, it is not true, Richard. It is, you see, the NDC is well aware that as it relates to the 2024 election, they have nothing good to offer Ghanaians. They have nothing on the table. And thankfully enough, their candidate has been president before. And Ghanaians know him for what he did, the kind of penury and injury he took Ghanaians through. We've not forgotten that. And so when it comes to the track record, they have nothing at all. And it is not surprising that instead of the NDC raising constructive criticism on the work of the EC, what are they doing? Just attacking the EC, bastardizing the EC. Today, because they are holding elections in Kumasi and in some parts of the Ashanti region, you sit here and you tell us that it's because of some work that you are organizing. That is not true. These are just mere statements you make without any facts. You cannot substantiate these things.
Why not get
and please, Richard.
Why not a Volta region?
Richard, you cannot.
Ashanti region.
You see, we have to elevate our conversations, KMJ, to ensure that we speak with facts. You cannot say that the EC is doing the bidding of NPP. When we went to Asin North,
that's a fact.
Did the EC do the bidding of the NPP?
He started.
Please.
She started.
You
know.
We have to come out with the statements. It is never true.
Try and get some messages.
That the EC is doing the bidding of the. You are aware that you lose the election, and so right from today you've started attacking the EC, so that when you lose, you then will be blaming people. Meanwhile, you know you have nothing good to offer Ghanaians, and everybody is aware of this.
Okay.
Everybody is aware.
Let me get into this. This one says, if my voice will be loud and clear, I wanted to find out from EC whether this commonly district election is transferable, peace and effective. Since election materials were not available to some areas, ballot paper printed black and white, making picture identification so difficult for voters. Names, registers, and biometric screening putting pressure on only BVD officers showing the process of voting. I'm wondering why EC refused to give the work to someone who can help in Ghana's method of selecting leaders. Jagula Gordon from Upper East sent in that one. It says, good morning, Joy Prime. Let me try and get some other messages. This one says that, good morning, KMJ panelists. Thank you, Honorable Richard Manuribe, for telling Ghanaians the truth about seemingly endless lies of Manasseh and his MPP party. The people of Nkwanta South appreciate your effort a lot. And that is from Justice from Nkwanta. This one over here says, greetings to all children of God. Greetings to all children of God fighting against homosexuality in Ghana because it's abhorrent to God as follows. If a man lies with a male as if he were a woman, both men have committed an abomination. It's a perverse, unnatural, and abhorrent act, and they shall surely be put to their death. Their blood shall be upon them. That's it, Leviticus 20, verse 12 to 14. And that's from Pawuli. the religious crusader, and it comes again and says, I host, it's sad politicians are playing football with our education just to score political points. Free SHS is a good idea, but the ad hoc free SHS policy characterized by wholesale promotions, lack of textbooks, furniture, standards, and erratic academic calendars is a recipe for mass failures and disaster. Indeed, politicians don't have oh boy, so these are a lot of messages that came, I think, previously. So let me get to the one that came today, right? Hi, enough is enough. Jean Mensa and her commissioners must go for us to have credible referees and clean electoral registers. It's obvious the EC and her staff don't have any respect for citizens or the laws of Ghana, and they are bent on rigging the aid for NPP, just as they manipulated figures several times in 2020 in favor of the ruling government. Jean Mensa and her cohorts in NPP colors have left their usefulness, so they must resign because they have lost your credibility to manage elections. I host stop holding brief for the discredited commissioners, or else they send you to hell. Indeed, EC is doing everything to cause mayhem in the country. I'm not just asking questions. This one says, hi KMJ, Sisala West Constituency 2023 District Assembly elections. Is this today or tomorrow or the previous days? It says NDC 15, NPP 5, Independent 1, total 21. Abu Husseini sent in this one. So I'm assuming this is the one that was done on Wednesday, Tuesday. Now, good morning, KMJ and your guest. Why is the NDC behaving like this? When Charlotte was the commissioner, was she bidding for the NDC? The NDC always has no facts but bent on lies and propaganda. Another one over here says, Alaji Hamza Pig Farm says, good morning, KMJ. Permit me to use your platform this morning to appeal to Madam Jean Mensa to save this country for us. We are begging her in the name of God that we don't want any trouble in this. And for that matter, she should do the right things at the right time and the wrong things at the wrong time, and no one will ever blame. My tensions are high in this country, and in the case of my little mistake, things turn upside down, which we don't want to happen. Madam Jean Mensa should stop this act of arrogant posture and listen to advices from our chiefs, CSOs, and for that matter, the stakeholders. This behavior of I know it all will not help her. I have said my own. A word to a wise is enough. Okay, let me see. Another one over here says that, good morning to, okay, let me go down. Good morning to you. Let us not be deceived by this current inflation figure, not to even accept the fact that the economy is doing very well, that is bouncing back. But please, let us conduct a personal survey by walking into the market and begin to ask some few questions on price of goods and services, or whether do we even have prospect or people buying. My point is that the government should start creating markets to stabilize price of goods and services within all the districts. Love, respect. Aaron Babakuku Komisa sent in that one. Another one over here says, good morning, my honorables. I wish all the assemblymen and women all the best in Achimota constituency. All the electorate should go out and vote for wise one and loyal person in the electoral area, Yekua electoral area. Let's vote massively for Magdaku Wayogo for good leadership. Mohammed Zinel Abidin Zungo Kokos, coordinator Achimota constituency, sent in that one as well. McGunye from Kweze in the whole West constituency says, KMJ, please, Piggy, right? Okay. Please tell NDC that we are fed up where there are plenty talks and criticisms. Enough of the name callings. We want to hear what they are coming back to do to improve the livelihood of the citizenry. They ruled this country before and we know them. Dead goat syndrome was their attitude. We want better alternative. What are they coming to do differently is what we want to hear. Not their usual talking. Okay. Let me see if we have any other one. Okay, so that'll be pretty much what we have. This one says, please, what time is the Christmas? It's going to happen at 5 p.m. Tomorrow, so don't miss out on that one. It's happening at 5 p.m. tomorrow on Joy Prime, so don't miss out. There's going to be a lot of things to give away. All right, so Manasseh, you were on the floor before we went for those messages, but thanks for those messages. You can continue to send your messages to us. Let's talk about the president, the EI, from the minority point of view. You've got only 4 minutes to do this. We don't have time today.
Right, so...
And I blame the two of you.
Oh, so 2 each?
Yeah.
Right. So
I want the viewers to know you are responsible for what is happening right now. So both of you will take that responsibility.
You have also bear with us that for the whole year we have also been with you. Never done that.
I have always appreciated that.
Yes, so that's
and the viewers have always appreciated it. It doesn't mean that getting to the end of the year you should do what you're doing.
Anyway.
Yeah, man, that's the best.
Yes, KMJ. So, I mean, when you look at our forest reserve and the essence of protecting our forest reserve, it is very, very important. And there are legal instruments and even executive instruments to that effect to ensure that we are able to safeguard our forest. I mean, what the minority seeks to do, and again, these are high-level, I mean, legal issues. It is a request they have made, and there are procedures they can follow through to ensure that, I mean, all these things are able to happen. But the very essence and what is instructive is for us to know that when it comes to forest and the preservation of our forest and even our water bodies, this government has been very much committed in ensuring that going forward we are able to safeguard our forest. I mean, with our fight against galamsey, you realize that yes, the fight has been tough. It's just like the fight against corruption. But government has invested a lot and we have made some significant strides even in our quest to ensure we are able to protect our water bodies and even the forest. And so I am confident that it is not a case that government is seeking to, you know, declassify for some private reasons or whatever, but it has to be stated that the president himself and even government has been very, very critical as it relates to our forest, I mean, reserves. And it is something that we know that when the last tree dies, the last man dies. If you deplete your forest, you are killing yourself by extension. And so government is very much committed in ensuring that we are able to safeguard our forest so that going forward, we would have the Green Ghana project ongoing. And it is not surprising that over the years, government has been very critical and deliberate in ensuring we are able to plant some trees, even in our various, I mean, forest reserves to ensure we are able to, I mean, boost up the green nature of the forest. And so I am confident that what the minority is saying and all these things are just, I mean, on the surface, and there are legal procedures they can, of course, follow through to ensure we are able to elevate this issue.
Great. Richard?
KMG, our position as minority in Parliament, if I say minority in Parliament, because the minority in Parliament are our NDC people. So our position is that we want a legislative instrument 144 and an executive instrument, executive instrument 144 and legislative instrument 2462 to be revoked, and then to make, because the government, this particular government, I am just happy, Manasi, this morning with him, because he's been very honest that when the last tree died, the last man died. So the Achimota forest was reserved because, because of the pollution, they said the carbon dioxide is breathed by the trees, isn't it? That's where the trees survive on. So we are looking at the factories and industries around those areas. That's why we set up the Achimota forest, for that, so there will not be pollution in the area. And then, so we see that in Ghana, we have a lot of ramsacked areas in this country. That's government of Ghana has getting a lot of money for carbon. So what we did was that we reserved that area. The Achimota forest, if you look at the Achimota forest, they are planted trees that is there. It is not just a reserve area as like Mole National Park, as like Bui National Park, as like Chabobo National Park, as like in Zulu and other areas. So, but this government has made sure they revoked, they have now quickly run into Parliament and then put in the CI 144, EI 144, to make sure they revoke Achimota forest so that it should no more be a forest reserve area. You recall under President John Dramani Mahama, the ecotourism sector, we try to use the peripheral for ecotourism so that we'll be able to reserve those areas. And that is why we went to Copenhagen and then we were able to secure the climate change $115 million. And then we started with the Red Plus project. That's
What did you do with that money?
Oh no, but we didn't disband. You disband. You launched it. President Akufo-Addo, if you recall, President Akufo-Addo launched that program at the International Conference Center. I was there. I was at that program. Kwamis Fakay was the MC for that particular program. $150 million into youth in afforestation. That will plant trees across all the areas so that we'll make sure we green the environment. Because
but that is done every year. Is that not what the president?
No. That project is different from what Abu Janapo has been doing with planting about 1 million.
Is it not the same?
No. That's a red plant project. It's different from the planting.
So that has never been.
That is why they've recruited. They've recruited young guys from the HND level to make sure that they plant trees across the country. But I can tell you, these gentlemen were planting the trees for almost 2 years. None of them have been paid. So they have to stop the project. But you are disclassifying Achimota forest, and then Sir John bought half of the portion of the land, and then President Nana Addo, for knowing that he's going, he also wants to take part of it. Then they are disclassifying, not to make a forest reserve.
The last ministry came out and said there's never been any.
But you have disclassified it. There's a legislative instrument against it. This is the same president when we brought an ally for the witchcraft scrapped. He said he was not going to sign. But we are rather disclassifying forest areas for you to be able to buy, and Manasseh and Co. will be able to get more of the lands to buy. Canada raised this concern that
the airport lands that you sold to yourself during your time.
I'm not talking about
you forgot just here. Airport, go and check.
If you look at the NDC, the master plan we had at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, we even realized that even in the northern part of Ghana, the old women and men that goes into the bush and picks share give us $41 million every year. That's why we set out the Bupe share butter factory. Even the forest reserve area, you know that we have something called open season. I know you are aware. And the open season, the bush meat we export in this country, give us close to $100 million. And now you want to deplete all the forest reserve areas. You've tried. If you go to a place like Gbande National Park now, it's been invaded with galamsey, led by the MPP and its chronics. From part 1 to part 11 of the park, it's been depleted. The forest area has been spoiled with galamsey. So are so many areas. The Achimota mining issue, you saw it. And then we are saying that the EI they have made an EI that the people cannot enter the forest reserve area and mine for 24 years. So you sit here and think that when the last man died, the last tree died, the last man, the trees are dying, so it means we are all dying very soon.
KMJ,
that is the reality.
It's not true that the EI allows anybody to enter any.
KMJ, it is the reality of the
matter. Richard.
Who tells you everybody can enter any forest for 24 years?
The fact that,
who is mining in the Achimota
it gives the president the power to do so doesn't mean that what you're saying is happening is happening.
Have you seen anybody mining in the
revocation came because they want to be sure that the forest is reserved.
Of course.
And that is why the minority is seeking for that. So it doesn't mean that the activity you are talking about is ongoing there.
We are saying they should revoke it. But
exactly. But it doesn't mean that the activity you are saying is ongoing there at the moment.
Legislative instrument 2462 is a move that they will prevent and opening the country's forest reserve.
That's all.
To mine leases.
That's all.
To attend mining. So what are you saying?
Who tells you?
No, that is what it is. But what I'm saying is the fact that you want to revoke it does not mean that the activity you are mentioning right now
is happening there.
Activity is happening there.
Who is mining in the Achimota forest?
I am telling you.
Is there any mining activity going on in the Achimota forest?
The Achimota forest, the EI forest is
answer the question. No,
Richard. No. I'm asking a question.
Yes.
Do we have any mining activity going on?
We are talking about two issues now. Okay, we are talking about the EI.
Answer the question. Achimota forest.
Hold on.
I understand that.
Yeah, we are talking about two issues now. LI 144 is saying that the Achimota forest is no more a reserve forest area, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's the reason why you want. That's what. No.
And then we are talking about EI. We are talking about EI 2462. That says that
is the LI. The LI 2462.
You can go.
The EI is the executive instrument 144, which gives a power to a president to say that this place is disclassified. It means that somebody can do ABCD there, and you want that revoked.
Yes, because
so what I'm saying is, you mentioned that so that people will not do the activity that is happening there at the Achimota forest. That was the example.
The land has been sold. Are you aware the land has been sold?
Do we have an activity like that happening at the Achimota forest?
But are you aware the land is sold?
Answer.
Because
you can't answer.
No,
who is mining in the Achimota
forest is not a mining zone.
But that's what you saw to.
I am telling you that a place like Gbande National Park,
Those were examples you mentioned.
Yes, that happened.
The Achimota forest, you indicated that, so that people will not go and mine there.
For 24 years.
24 years.
You think you are smart.
It's not actually happening there.
Maybe you didn't listen.
Richard, don't try to outsmart. I will listen to you.
I understand what
I'm saying is that.
you.
What I'm saying is that the Achimota forest with the that's the EI 144 is to declassify the Achimota forest. That is not going to more be a reserve area, a forest reserve area. Isn't it? That is why Sir John and his chronics has gotten lands already there. So the rest is for the president and his chronics to buy. And I'm also telling you that
it's not for the president.
Oh, but what I mean,
you don't have any facts that indicate that the president is buying or his cronies are buying anything over there.
But the president appointee bought lands there. Are you not aware?
That's not the president buying lands.
His appointees, the people he has confidence in. His former general secretary bought the land there. And I'm telling you that the LI 2462 is giving a mining lease for people to enter the forest reserve area. And I use the example like Achimota mining. That they have gone for a prospectus in the forest reserve area and they started mining. And then I'm using a place like a Gbande National Park. A Gbande National Park, I said part 1 to 11. You can open your line. If you go to Banyankwanta, Taslima, Bongasi, and all those areas, it has turned to a mining zone, the 10th national park in this country, where you can see hippopotamus. Now all the hippopotamus have run away. And so that's the issues we are saying, that we should revoke all these legislative instruments and executive instruments, and we reserve this area so that we'll be able to reserve our forest reserve area for the people of this country. And he mentioned that when the last three died, the last one dies. And we are saying now, there is only under the that we are saying that Achimota forest, we all know, during the colonial days, that we you know the Achimota forest, the history of Achimota forest was that when they set up the Achimota school, those trees were, it's basically neem trees. I don't know whether you checked that place. It was used for what? Firewood and all those things. But we realized the industrial area in Accra, that can absorb the pollutions. That's what we did. But we are saying that now, it's no more a forest reserve area. Sir John has bought a portion of the land, but I still want to buy some. And everybody should
no one wants to buy it. And
everybody get access to it. And
the Achimota forest is still intact. It is only the periphery which belonged to a family that had this issue. So Richard,
the periphery,
don't deceive yourself.
The periphery
was intact. We use that place every day. We use the. It is only the periphery belonging to the old family. Belonging to the old family. And Richard, don't think you are smart. Don't think you are smart.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
We have to wish our.
Please do it quick. We don't have time. Very nice, man. So, Richard,
right, so I just want to use this opportunity to wish our viewers, our lovely viewers, a Merry Christmas. I mean, we've been with you from last year throughout this year. We've enjoyed your conversations, your text messages, and all of that. So we want to appreciate you very much, and we pray for more blessings from the Lord, and we hope 2024 will be a glorious year. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of us.
Great. Quick, 1 minute.
Yeah,
no comment, say it, 1 minute.
Kevin, on behalf of myself and my brother Manasi, we want to thank Multimedia and Joy Prime Money Show for the exposure you have given us and for the education. Whether we like it or not, when they send us a topic, we must read.
Yes.
Whether we don't like reading, we must read and then make sure we do research on it. And we want to wish you a prosperous and a progress media house, that you grow to the higher. We are hoping tomorrow we'll also be leaders of this country. And with your exposure and what you have done for us, I'm so grateful. And we want to wish everybody, our friends and sisters, a Happy New Year, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And next year, we'll also be with you. We will assure you. We want to assure you that we are very committed to you as a media house. But the KMG, before I end, people who think they have office girlfriends and office boyfriends in this multimedia house, OPD or whatever his name, he's lost the battle, and that election must.
Where's that one coming from?
Oh no, but I said I will tell you why.
That'll be our conversation for this morning.